Roll call, both directors are here. Public comment, is there anybody online? There's nobody here.
Nobody online.
Nobody online, nobody in the house. Thank you, public comment. Approval of minutes, did you have anything with the minutes?
Nope. I think we skipped approval of the agenda, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of the agenda. Was there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes.
I motion
Okay.
to approve the agenda.
I second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we caught up. Minutes? I'll move the minutes.
All right. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 4, consideration of implementation of a water meter assistance program.
So located in
Right.
our packet on page 5, staff has put together some thoughts and ideas conceptually on the implementation of a water meter assistance program. What is a water meter assistance program? There's approximately 314 properties within the district boundaries that have had a domicile placed on them without a water service line or a water meter to supply potable water. Preliminary analysis reveals that 154 of those parcels are over 660 feet away from a main line that may or may not be served by a well or may not have abandoned structures. 65 of those parcels are within 660 feet of a main line. 59 are within 330 feet of a main line, might require an easement or a short main line extension or even fronts a main line. And then 36 of those are served by a meter but have an additional living structure. Several of these properties have indicated their desire to purchase a meter. So just throwing out ideas, staff kind of came up with a thought of what if we could get these properties that have been identified a water meter with a down payment. Currently it costs right about $3,500 materials and labor. The thought would be there will be no out-of-pocket for the district, so we would recoup the initial cost to the district in the material and labor with a $3,500 down payment, and then potentially having those properties make a monthly payment to the district to cover the remaining balance, somewhere in the neighborhood of $9,000. And we're just playing laws of average. A standard water meter does cost about $12,500, give or take. Again, there could be assessment credits. We also would want to reinforce that our current process of a property owner comes in to get a will serve letter, and then it's up to engineering to determine their proximity to a water main and continuing on with requiring a building permit and such. So staff wanted to bring this forward for discussion and get engineering committee's thoughts and opinions. Happy to answer any questions because I'm sure there's lots. I still have a few myself. Did not include the thought of an interest on the remaining balance to the district. I didn't include any interest figures. I thought that would be more best left to the financial experts, not myself, and to see if there's even an appetite for such a program to exist. I'm sure that we'll have to get legal's opinion on this at some point and massage it to fit the needs of the district, but is this something that might make a water meter available to properties that might not necessarily be able to afford the full $12,000 up front, but give them a foot in the door, so to speak?
Start with you. Do you have any questions?
And one thing too, sorry.
Go ahead.
Anybody prior to 2017 with a second living arrangement on their property is grandfathered in per our current policies. That was also a caveat to this. I forgot to.
Meaning?
Say that again.
So if a property owned by John Doe had a second home placed on it in 2005, our current policy is they're grandfathered from being required a second meter. That's been adopted by the board.
If there were two
Correct.
houses
Yeah.
on, then.
Correct.
then,
Okay.
Yeah.
So our
But they
current,
could still participate in this program if they wanted to. It's just
If they
not
wanted to
forced
divide
yes,
to.
it's not enforceable under our
Yeah.
policy, only 2017 to now.
Okay.
Yeah, so if a son if they built for one of the children and just hooked they're still paying the water use, they just didn't pay for another meter.
Correct.
Okay. I'm sure I read it on here, but I can't find it now, but you did have, I think, a contingency plan in here for if they did the program and then they didn't follow through with their payment, or they sell the property and it's not completely paid for.
So as our current payment arrangements, anybody that does enter into a payment arrangement with the district, a lien is placed on the property to secure the district's position, so that if the transfer sale occurred, the district is guaranteed that remaining balance.
Okay. I mean, in your opinion, what do you think the percentage of these parcels is that would be interested in participating in a program like this?
In my professional opinion, if we sold even 5 meters out of this, the program's a success. That's 5 meters that otherwise would not have been sold. We're more accurately monitoring the usage of the distribution system while having an option for folks that might not necessarily be able to afford the meter. So I hope the perception would be that it's a gentler way to the path of doing things correctly.
Okay. That's it for me.
Okay, so currently, we have a fee for 660 feet from any main, right? There's a cost,
Correct.
okay? So half of the parcels are beyond 660.
Correct.
roughly, and half are less than 660. So they're being the ones that don't have meters. They might be trucking their water in a well. They're getting charged a fee now.
Correct.
Okay. And you have 59 parcels within 330 feet of a main line. And so, there's no real way to figure out how much pipe you'd have to put in for people that might want to get the service. That's
correct. And that's why keeping their current policies and procedures in place where the customer would still have to apply for a will serve letter, so engineering can determine the hard costs. Engineering currently develops, because they run the property as there may be assessment credits available to them, their proximity to water mains. And unfortunately, Mr. Cardenas is not here to assist me on this one tonight.
Well, so part of the structure would have to be that if there was a mainline extension in order to service some of these, then that fee would have to, the way it goes, if you go out 4 parcels and you're the 4th one out, we don't have them pay we pay for the cost for that, and they pay their 1/4 share, right? And then as properties are built, then there's an additional as meters go in, correct?
Sean, can I jump in? 'Cause
Please.
I've done the water letters in the past. Right now, if the water main extension is required, it's the customer's responsibility to pay that. So they would have to pay it, and they would have the option to get it paid back to them if somebody else tapped into it at some point.
So they would have to pay for the whole thing? I
Yeah,
thought we had-
this really wouldn't benefit anybody that has to do a mainline extension, because that's a lot more costly than just the meter.
Yeah. So I think you'd have to think about a program where we,
This is
because when you put mainline extensions in, now you're extending to additional properties that then fees would apply to.
And I do think the district's legal counsel probably would, this is really not geared towards mainline extensions. This is really geared towards people in proximity of 330 feet or less, getting meters to those,
Okay.
not so much extending main lines.
Okay, well, that's because that was, I was trying to figure out how some of this might work. So it would really be anybody that is, close to existing
Correct.
system, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't have an issue with doing something like that. So you're talking about basically getting the upfront cost, the meter cost and the labor and all that stuff.
Correct.
And then having them go on a time pay. Yeah, that's,
And there, we had some internal debates of what is a more appropriate time frame, a 5-year or potentially a 10-year. If you were to pay the remaining balance off, it would be plus or minus $75 a month, or if it was a 5-year, it'd be around $150 a month. And really what staff...
yeah, I think you'd have to probably offer like 2 programs, one where it's paid off quicker, one where
Yeah.
it's paid off longer, and see which one they'd be amenable to. But you'd have to go talk to Lori about that, too. Finance would have to.
And operations did meet with the general manager and the CFO on this. And what staff is really seeking is the committee's recommendation to take this to the full board for consideration, and some, maybe a little more finite direction on and input.
Yeah, I was
To
trying to
massage it.
try to get it refined a little bit here.
And we can always bring it back to next month's committee meeting to give everybody the opportunity to
Okay, so,
revise.
so it's not designed for any mainline extension?
Correct.
It's just for those, and how many services are those, or 36? Is that
It'd
what you
be-
estimate?
It'd be the 59 plus
59
Or
30.
the
and the
59
So
plus
about 90,
36?
95.
Okay. Well, shoot, if you could get half of them at it,
Right.
you know,
And this
That
was
would be
really
great.
just using aerial analysis. Really what staff's been seeing is more and more modulars being placed on properties that are in proximity to water lines, that are off the grid, so to speak. And the spirit of this is to really target those. There could be more and there could be less. This was just using our aerial imagery that we had available.
do those have tanks on them?
Many do.
Yeah, they have
And
tanks.
to see if there was even the appetite to take this to the board for consideration.
So now this probably is beyond most of our memories, but 10, 12 years ago, we had a set of programs in place for, I thought, meter assistance, toilet showers, all that stuff being changed out. I thought there was a fund that we had, kind of like the ones for the fireworks in the local clubs. There was some money set aside each year.
To my knowledge, I'm not aware of that, but through conservation, there was some budgetary there were some grants available through Mojave for assistance on toilets, low flow faucets and showers, and all that is non-existent as of now.
Yeah, that's all. Okay.
I had a question on it. Is this program only for people that are without a meter now, or are we gonna be applying this to everybody going forward that buys a meter?
And conceptually,
Everybody's gonna wanna be part of it, that's why I'm asking.
could you repeat it, please?
That if this program is only for people that do not have a meter now but have the second houses or anything like that, or is it for anybody purchasing a meter going forward?
And that is some of the more refinement I'm seeking.
Gotcha.
How far do we extend said program? Where's the line in the sand, so to speak? For every good intention, there's unintended consequences, and where do we draw that? Would a developer choose to and potentially use the program that it was not intended for? And that's where we'll have to work with the district's legal counsel to really hone in without being exclusionary. So where's the line on equitability?
Yeah.
Well, you may have to put a sunset on it and do it like a 6-month or a 9-month thing. And, I mean, these are the things that have to be ironed out.
Yeah.
Could be just a short-term window to do that. So that would probably
So maybe,
not involve developers and stuff, so.
what if we massage this a little further and maybe bring it back to the next committee meeting for further consideration? And we can all have some time to kind of work on it. It gives us a,
Yeah, that's fine.
It's a good
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
Definitely workable.
Perfect.
I think it's a good idea. I think it needs to be refined a little
yeah.
bit.
perfect.
We've already talked a little bit about it here. As far as I think the down payment should cover the upfront cost that the district has. I think that's what you designed this at.
Our hard costs are 3,400
Yeah.
and change to
Yeah.
just
So
completely
that's fine.
encapsulate that.
And then probably a two payments, one that's a smaller amount, one that's a larger amount, that would be one shorter duration, one longer.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for the feedback. If we could note that for an action item for next month's meeting, please.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea. I
Thank
mean,
you.
So you also might run it past,
We will. We'll work with district legal counsel
Yeah.
to see what modifications, and we can bring that back
see
to
what
the
he has
committee
to
for
say. Yeah.
Yeah,
consideration at next month's meeting.
Okay, that sounds good.
perfect.
Okay, excellent. We'll move on to item 5 is the West Day Recharge Study Project.
We do have, so staff's learned from Mojave Water Agency on the recharge. They will be using nuclear magnetic residency tracing dye. So we will be able to detect its efficiency and effectiveness.
See which
Throughout.
wells it turns up in.
Exactly.
Excellent. That was a question I think we had last time. Okay, anything else on that? Did you have any questions?
I
Okay.
started reading up on that, though. I'm.
Oh, dye tracing and,
Well, no, the whole project. I pulled the whole Mojave Water
Oh.
packet off of the, I'm like going through each paragraph, studying it, so.
yeah, good, good. Okay, just item 6, the water system.
Sorry, I'm getting there. Okay, on page 8, we've sold 14 water meters calendar year to date. Again, we had 56 last year, 86 in '22, so slow growth is slowing, but still occurring. Our well 14, we're not utilizing whatsoever. Our service line replacement program, our guys have been doing amazing. I know the 38 replaced for calendar year to date looks a little lean, but the guys have just about doubled that number in the last couple of weeks, and we look to hit our goal by July 1st. So we're really pushing hard to get to that 150 before then. Our Site 2 Booster C rehab, both the pump and motor. So we elected to increase its capacity by a couple hundred gallons a minute, and that is because well 15's influx of water. We had more production capacity than we had boosting capacity. Now we have turned the tide on that. We have almost equal capacity there now. So well 15 is really carrying the east side of the district. Where we used to run 4 or 5 submersible wells, we're running well 15. It's dynamically changed the way we operate the distribution system. So all of us, myself included, are kind of learning our distribution system again with our new asset being that we've never had it before. So it's allowing us to do things definitely more efficiently. I wrote our staff a technical memorandum asking them to please weigh the efficiencies now of boosters and pumps because we have the capacity. So as before where we used to have to only worry about effectiveness, now we can weigh our efficiencies against that as well. Station 12 had booster B replaced. Again, the meters are completely done. I'm hearing nothing but positive feedback from the office and out in the field.
How about the customers?
The majority, and Amy, help me out, you're in the office more than I am. I would say the majority of customers are very happy with the ability to find out about leaks on their side. much faster, although that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
Because we are catching the leaks and the accuracy of the meter. So potentially that customer may not have had the most accurate meter prior. They have an extremely accurate meter now. And we have seen our loss rate go down. Again, when we get to 6 months of data, I'll be the first one in here cheering it on. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. We used to run 14.9% loss rate. Our loss rate's 8.9% right now. That's 4 months of data. When we get to 6, we will have it all before us, and
wow, that's about a 40%.
we'll light the fireworks off.
Savings,
But
yeah.
just yet,
Yeah,
I
you
just,
get
I'll
under
feel much more
10%.
comfortable with 6 months of data.
Excellent.
But it's very, very much trending in a positive manner. We've seen a notable decrease in lost water.
But in the office, you're seeing people confused or complaining because it's
Yeah.
such a drastic.
Yeah, because we proactively call customers when they're flagged as having a leak for like 3 days on there, because we get all that information on our side.
Yeah.
So we're calling a lot more people. We're trying to get more people set up with the access to it on our website. So our customer service staff has been really trying to push that and give them flyers, telling them how to do it and everything.
Yeah.
So we have a very low percentage, which is kind of, I guess, standard with this, because like we reached out when we first started it, and it was a really low percentage of users on the website, which we're kind of seeing is probably about 1 to 2% of people signed up for it. It's really low.
Yeah.
But they've been pushing it in the office to try to get it up higher.
I gotcha.
Well,
Have the access, and when they come in, we tell them, like, you could see all this through yourself, and they're like, oh, okay. So they're interested in it, they're just not sure how to use it yet.
Yeah.
Well, the more people you call and are saying that you've got water running at 2 in the morning,
Yes.
the more we'll get involved because,
Yeah, exactly, because we could pull, hourly data at that point and say, like, this is when it started, this is when it stopped, this is when it increased, so it's good, it's really good to have that information. And a lot quicker than we would having to go out with the data log before, so.
oh, yeah.
This is the first year as well that our CCR has gone out electronically. There's links to it on the website. There's links to it on our social media. There's hard copies available in the office. State Water Resource Control Board also just sent out updates. We are going to have to now send out the CCR twice a year. So as where our printing costs had over doubled to send it out once a year, now we're required to send it out twice a year. So our costs would have actually quadrupled. That's why we've elected to go electronically. So again, it is available on our website, and there's hard copies for anybody that wishes in the office. We did have some divers in tank L1 because the cable for the target on the tank had broken. That was repaired today. And well 2 has been pulled because unfortunately before well 15 came online, the motor died. But that repair came in significantly cheaper. We're able to reuse almost all the components except the motor. So that was about half of what we were fearing. And then once it's repaired, it won't run like it used to have to.
Yeah,
So it's
it
really
should-
just taking the strain off of the distribution system.
Yeah, this pump should last quite a little bit longer.
And I don't have a lot more. Happy to answer any questions we have on number 6.
I didn't have any others, did
Nope,
you?
thank you.
Okay. And anything else? All right, let us move to Smithson Springs update.
The vegetation is growing like no other.
Yeah,
The road will be repaired hopefully in the next month or so when we can get up there with some equipment. I don't really have any other updates.
yeah, I'm sure it's flowing and I'm sure there's lots of weeds.
Unfortunately, I can't get CAL FIRE crews at the moment.
Yeah.
They're tied up on a couple of fires, and as
Yeah.
soon as crews are available to us, we'll have them up there for the vegetation this year.
Okay. State regulations update. We did the Chromium 6 thing and,
We did. So we have 3 years to comply from April 17th of last month.
yeah,
So it's fallen right in line to our 10-year CIP.
okay. Item 9, review of current projects.
For Tank 6A, the geotechnicals were completed last month. George had given me a punch list what to say on this one, and
I think that's the soil testing, right?
that is the soil testing.
Yeah.
And also, there was an update on CEQA, but at next month's meeting, I'll let him give the update so I don't botch that.
Okay.
Future well number 18, staff continues to move forward. Where and how to go about that one, with General Manager Bartz's guidance. And well number 17, we're still waiting for Tesco to finish programming. So Tesco is extremely busy. We're just waiting on our PLC, and we can strike that one. But for now, it's unfortunately still not done. We're just waiting on the PLC.
Okay. Anything else? Nothing? Staff reports, I don't think there's anything additional that I had. Did you have any other?
No, thank you.
Other than to thank the operations department for all their hard work. These guys have really been putting in the blood and sweat to make our service line replacement program meet its goal. They've, how many in the last month? Pushing 50? Yeah, 28, and we're halfway through the month. These guys have been doing amazing.
Fantastic. 11, review of action items of the prior meeting. I think we had the Chromium 6
Yeah, that was on there.
discussion, which we did.
For the bring it back, yeah. And then that was all for the last meeting.
And then the current meeting,
Have down to bring back more information on the water meter assistance program.
right, okay. Anything else? No, I don't think so. Setting the agenda, I assume there'd be no changes to the agenda because we'll be bringing back item 4. Anything further?
I don't have anything else to add.
And we will adjourn at 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.